Recording in progress.
Sometimes when we're engaged in behaviors we'd rather really not make part of our routine habits, or we're on paths that we know to be fraught with danger, both physical danger and spiritual danger. There are those who stand to help us. There are those family members and friends who express their love sometimes through a little nagging, sometimes through a little bit of an irritating ask. Did you take care of that? Are you mending your ways? In whatever ways those questions are presented, it seems like there's an adversary in front of us, or that we make adversaries of the people who care for us so, who encourage us to revise the way we behave, to renew sacred journeys in our lives, and get off paths that lead us to nowhere. This is Torah wisdom at work, to recognize that the Torah teaches this through the very story of Balaam, the supposed cursor of Israel, the sorcerer who tried to stand between the divine and the sacred journey and purpose of the Jewish people and God. Vayicharaf Elohim ki holechu. God's anger was kindled because he was going in such a way. Balaam was on an accursed path, detrimental force in the greater world, in God's good plan, in Am Yisrael's progress, and in potentially his own peoples and peoples of Canaan's potential covenants of peace that they could have struck up with Israel if only they went that direction. God's anger was kindled. Vayatsev malach Adonai baderech lesatan lo. And God stood an adversary, an angelic adversary in his way. And Balaam thought that this was an adversary, an enemy, working against him. In fact, sometimes we feel irritated by the very people whom we label as adversaries, who we think are nagging us, who we think are bothering us. And if we were not to be defensive, but receptive, and open our hearts and our minds and hear that sometimes those words of encouragement and those words of love will be what help us break bad habits and get on the right paths, we would be better for it. Look for angels instead of adversaries. That is the message in Parshat Balak. Shabbat Shalom.